of the two things, we rank that the generator is the life-saving asset that they need at the moment. Imagine this in Ghana or in my hometown. A woman goes to deliver a baby. In the midst of delivery, light goes out. They have to immediately transport this
Yeah.
person to the regional capital. And
Yeah.
some has been fatal, and over 72,000 people goes to this clinic annually. 72,000 in Ghana, that is huge. What do
Mm.
they need? A generator
Yeah.
that costs less than 5,000 US dollars.
Mm. Yeah.
And it would serve a community that goes beyond my town. It go everyone closer proximity of about 10 to 30 miles would come to the clinic to utilize it. So when I spoke with my board, they were like, really? I said, yes, this is what's going on. And trust me, about 50% of the time in 24 hours in Ghana, there is light out. So health centers must be running all the time. Their computers would
Yeah.
not be functioning, nothing would be working. So when my uncle told me that, and I met with my board, we decided that, well, we have 5 people. Let's pool resources together. Any and every amount that anyone would want to contribute, we'll take that. If we
Yeah.
don't get to our goal, I will supplement it with any and everything because I believe in
Mm-hmm.
giving back. My community has done a lot for me. Sitting here, if I didn't grow
Yeah.
up there, I probably wouldn't
We,
be here. So I
Kwabena, welcome to my show, Leadership and Personal Branding. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with me here today to inspire people, to motivate them, and to let them know that their intrinsic value is valuable. I know when you reach out to me, you are a positive message for them. You are here to inspire them and to motivate them to go to the next level, to where they want to be. So today, I know you are going to empower a lot of people today. And my conversation with you last night just exemplified how today's conversation will be very impactful. So before we start, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Right, Felix. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come to your show. I have seen the great work that you've been doing. You're having discussions with leadership, young entrepreneurs. I think that you giving a voice to us is very impactful. You may not see the reward right now, but in the near future, I'm sure you're going to reap very successfully. And a lot of us appreciate the opportunity, you being a voice out there and speaking to every child, particularly with where we come from, Africa. We're so proud of you. I am personally proud of you. I've watched most of your shows, and I think you're doing a great work. So thank you very much for doing this and doing it with me. With that said, I think I did a lot of intro last night speaking about myself, but my name is Kwabena Kesse and Nimadu. I have a very long name, so I decided to stick with Kesse and Nimadu. But my first name is actually Lovelace, a name that I don't really go by because I don't really like it, so I shy away from it. So I just decided to take my middle name, Kwabena, meaning I was born on Tuesday, and the first name of my last name, Kesse. So I go by Kwabena Kesse. I was born and raised in Ghana. I was raised mostly by my grandma, and I think my affection and my love for mankind came from how she raised me. At a young age, my grandma who loves to give, who loves to be a leader in the community and in churches. People would come to her with their problems. And as a young kid, I would always see that she somehow is able to resolve it, and I was inspired. I picked that from her at a young age. So my basic education, I will go through that. I had my basic education from the Presbyterian school in my local community, Oyoko Koforidua in Ghana. I had that through, I would say, we call that primary six. I don't know what it's called today, but I went from kindergarten through primary six. I skipped I think primary one and primary three, because the teachers then said, this guy is too smart for this class. So I would test out and then they would push me to the next grade. So when I was ready to go to junior high school, I was super young. I was just 10 years old. I was a tiny little kid. And at that point, I decided that I don't want to go to the junior high school in my local communities because they're not really I didn't like him because most people don't get good grades, and I wanted a better grade. But grandma and family couldn't afford the preparatory schools. So I picked a public school that was
Mhm.
maybe 5 miles away from my town, Fidiase. And I had to go test out. I test out, I passed, and they took me in. The problem was there was no money for transportation and whatever you. So I have to get up 4 a.m. each morning and walk to school. 5 miles in, 5 miles out, 10 miles. That's why I'm always up, like I said to you yesterday, 4 a.m. I have my alarm in my head. I'm up 4 a.m. So I picked that from the early ages, walked to school. And from then I had my secondary education at Ghana Secondary School, which is, we refer to that as Ganas for business accounting. So I read that at senior secondary school. That was my major. So I
Mhm.
focused on accounting, finance, economics, and I did that and graduated. After my graduation, um, I I wanted to go to the colleges in Ghana, the University of Ghana, the UCCs, and the techs of this world. I tried
Mhm.
so hard. I applied. I haven't heard back from them yet. Maybe tomorrow or Sunday they, they will respond to me. But
Yeah.
I tried. I remember my mom even traveled with me to go see the big people in the colleges. Said my son has done very well. He got grade 12, which is all B's, and nobody gave me a shot. So my
Mhm.
dad said, "Why don't you try a polytechnic?" It's like, nah, I mean, but he convinced me. He says, try it, and next year maybe we'll try the universities again. So I tried out, went to polytechnic, did accountancy. So I built on my accounting career then. And then after I graduated with HND, my best friend Edward told me about a program that was happening in the United States, a scholarship program. And I told him, I cannot afford any of these things. So he said, well, give it a shot. So I memorized the website after I left his place, came home, reached out to the program director here in the United States. And then he said, okay, send me your grades. So I sent him my high school grades and everything. And he processed that. And I got some pretty good scholarships. I
Mhm.
got really good scholarship. I had an opportunity to even pick from NYU. At that point, I didn't even know what Ivy League or whatever those things were. All I knew was that the 80% scholarship that they were giving me, I could not afford the 20%. It was so expensive. So I was like, no, thank you. So I picked the cheapest, and that was a small town in North Dakota called Valley City. So I went to Valley City, and that was where my career or my journey in the United States started. And I did accounting there. So I did accounting for the next 4 years. Graduated, majored in accounting. I didn't really do any minor. So after which, I was I was blessed that I had the opportunity to work with US Bank as a credit phone specialist. So somebody will call in on credit, their credit card application. I'll speak to them. I worked my way up from picking phone calls, explaining credit application to becoming a team lead, where I was responsible for most of my team members. I personally love credit. I learned it pretty fast, although coming from a background where we don't really have that. In Ghana, nobody talks about credit or credit score. It's still
Mhm.
foreign to most people over there.
Yeah.
And I had to pick my way up. And then after my graduation, I decided that, since I have a job now, I should try and add a professional certification to myself. So I started to take CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst. Okay, it's one of the most difficult professions that anybody would want to go into. So I took that level one, and it gave me some pretty good headache. Although I passed it, I got a scholarship to take it, so I didn't really have to pay for it. But it was very stressful. Then I said, you know what? I'm not really a finance guru at that point. I'm really good at accounting. So why don't I go that route? And a friend of mine, Alex, also recommended that why don't you start with the CPA? So I took the CPA and I passed it. That was quite easy. I some of the papers I took it twice. I think accounting and regulatory. I think regulations it's called. I took those twice, but compared to the CFA, I think the CPA was relatively easy. So then I became a chartered accountant. And afterwards, I was reached out by one of the SVPs at US Bank from Portland, Oregon. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, I saw that you just became a chartered accountant. Would you be interested in a role?" And I said, "Where will the role be? Is it in Portland?" She said, "No, it will be in Minneapolis. You work from corporate." I said, "Oh, okay." So I interviewed with her, and her name is Shirley. She gave me the opportunity to become a young portfolio analyst. And after a year into being a young portfolio analyst, I was promoted to become a portfolio manager, where I did a lot of syndicated loans with a few, big banks, B of A,
Mhm.
Chase, and what have you. And then after I became a portfolio manager, I realized that I have a passion and love for data because at that point I was doing so much, underwriting, learning about structures of organization, meeting up with CEOs from various car dealerships and
Mhm.
owners. So that I said, okay, let me have my master's. So went back to my root again to NDSU, and I did business data analytics as my master's program. And then subsequently, after that, I was hired by Credit One Bank as manager to manage a few credit analysts and risk practitioners here. So I moved to Las Vegas, and this is where I am currently, where I manage a team of risk analysts. And I think my team and I, we've been doing a pretty good job. Uh, in terms of what I do outside my profession, I'm a humanitarian. I really love human and I love being human. So I love to give back to society. And that said, I have a nonprofit that I help fund it. And my friends, I have four strong friends who back me into running this organization. Jojo, who works at Facebook, Prince, who works at the State Department, Nana, who is a health professional, and then Dr. Kobe. Dr. Kobe, obviously, he's a pharmacist, and these individuals help. We plan, we structure, and we go into the community and we help others. So that's just a brief intro of myself. What I do for fun, I like to play FIFA. I tend to think I'm really good, but then when I go online, sometimes I lose a lot, so I stop playing it. So that's a little bit about myself, Felix.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that detailed introduction and telling us about your journey from, I'll say, from humble beginnings and from being raised by somebody respectable in the society, your grandma. So that experience probably uh, set the stage for what you become today, seeing what was going around you and your journey from your curiosity. I think you were curious when your friend told you about this scholarship idea and you memorize it. Like
Mhm.
my daughter always memorize everything if I'm practicing my speech or if she's watching something on the TV, I can see her that she's calculating in her mind. So memorization. So I saw that you memorize and then ran home and actually took action
That's
and
right.
you looked into it and I think you are taking some actions and you are the vision. And that vision is what was always in your mind, I think. And the actions, any small actions that you are taking was getting you closer and closer to that vision. And one thing I've noticed is every action you took, I think there's one underlying factor, which I will call self leadership. self-leadership. If we can lead ourselves to where we want to be, the actions that we want to take every day, the choice of making those actions, making the decision to take those actions become easier because we know that we are leading ourselves to where we want to be. And I like also your career trajectory from actually from being in school to taking those professional certifications to working in a bank. And I know a lot of people that actually did something similar to you, credit analyst, but they haven't made it past where you are now. So congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you.
and having always showing up and somebody seeing you, somebody reached to you that, hey, we saw that you passed this exam. Do you want this opportunity? So sometimes when we lead ourselves through self-leadership and go after our vision, there is somebody watching. And that opportunity is you're getting closer and closer to that opportunity. And when you get that opportunity, what do you do next? And you did exactly probably what you envisioned, and that set up a lot of opportunities. Until now, you're leading a team of people. So, congrats on the journey, and every step, day by day, will always get us closer to where we want to be. And I know you still have a lot of aspirations and your future, even your involvement in nonprofit. I know you do a lot there. We can talk about that more later. I know a few people. I know one person that you mentioned in that board, and so you
Okay.
have a good team that is running this organization.
Mhm.
So thank you very much for the work that you do and for the nonprofit that you are running. So outside of work, actually, I tried playing FIFA, but I stopped doing that a long time ago. Some people can't resist it. They see the game, is it called the gamepad or the game?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
controllers.
yeah, the controllers, and they can't drop it. But there's a movie. If you want, you can go and watch it. It's called The Forge. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
This kid was always playing video games, always playing video games, and his mother wanted him to get out of the house, find a job, and so, but he was refusing. His mother told him he's going to start paying rent, and then he wasn't happy about that
Mhm.
until he started finding a job, like it's going door to door searching for a job until he met one guy who became his mentor. And then he started joining this company, leading the team when the company was about to collapse because they were behind on orders. This kid was the one that saved them because he played games. He was
Mhm.
always scanning the barcodes. Like, so he will go like tick, 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 tick very quickly. And that was because of his talent of pressing the controller button. So
Right.
some of the passions that we have transfer into the talent in a different field.
I
And
I, I agree.
and through your journey also you discovered your passion, and that's what you're doing. Many people do find their passions very late. And so I like to say that finding our passion is great,
Mhm.
but sustainable fulfillment is when we turn that passion into a purpose-driven mission to serve others in a meaningful way. And I
Right.
think you have extended that through your nonprofit. So thanks again for that long introduction, and I'm happy to be talking to you today and finding more about you. And I'm sure everyone watching, just stay tuned and you're going to hear from Kwabena. So, Kwabena, before we go too far into other details, part of your life, how would you define your personal brand?
That's I think one of the things that you've been working on and promoting is the personal brand aspect. And from my perspective, I've not really seen anybody champion personal brand in the way you do. And when you ask me about personal branding, um, I've always I've always said that it's not necessarily about me, but the ultimate beneficiaries are the impact that I have on others in terms of leadership, even at the workplace. How do you stand out to lead and not manage? So even in the work environment, you will see that my colleagues, I call them, although most work for me, I have this ability to rally around or bring everybody together, irrespective of your background. And I think my personal branding, not necessarily what I know, is what I bring, right? And in terms of knowledge, profession, understanding the human ethos, I think when I come around people, I have a way of understanding that everybody is unique in their own right, and one's strength is not another man's strength. One's weakness is not another man's weakness. So, how do you use your strength to complement your weakness? And for the most part, that's where people really struggle. So, my desire and my objective in this life is not to focus on the things that people do that does not really help. It's how do I use your strength to complement your weakness? And that is exactly what I have been doing in terms of my involvement in communities, leadership at the workplace, and my personal life, my family and friends. If you would ask around who Kwabena Kesse is, I am that one guy that everybody comes to. It doesn't mean that I am a savior. Trust me, I have my own troubles that sometimes I ask myself who motivates a motivational speaker, you know. So in terms of personal branding, I am very versatile. I am blessed to know a lot of things. I read a lot. I have picked most of my inspiration um, from listening to motivational speakers, reading on history. My favorite motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, is my favorite. I listen to him almost every day. And my favorite quote that he has that I always remind myself is if you will change, everything around you will change. The human institution and the human beings, we have the power to decide who we want to be. For the most part, it's not because we do not achieve them, it's because we do not follow through. Getting to your goals does not necessarily mean that you wake up and say, I want to be accountant, and then boom, it works. No, the struggle is what makes the achievement worth it. It would take time. It would take, a lot of failures, but that should not draw you down. Some don't even call it failures. They call it a learning curve. And that's what you when you succeed, you are going to celebrate. Because if there are no obstacles, if everything is given to you freely, then what is there to achieve? Absolutely nothing. And I like it when people say it's impossible. You cannot really do this. I always take up the challenge. They say the mountain is difficult to climb, but the view is where to decline. So in terms of personal branding, I would be able to tell you, Felix, that this is Kwabena Kesse, but trust me, in every domain, every aspect that touches the human fabric, my ability to connect with people, my ability to be able to see and bring out the best in people, my ability to rally people together, my ability to work with anybody from a diverse background. And one might say, well, that's normal. It's not, because in the work environment, you realize that our so called leaders and managers, we don't elect them. They are put there by somebody who really likes somebody. This does not necessarily mean that this person who is there is a leader. Most of them are not. But you still have to be able to respect authority and be able to work with them. And if you have a team that do not really trust their leadership, the team collapses. So you always want to make sure that I always tell the team that for me, work is family. It does not mean that you lose God. No, right is right and wrong is wrong. And my personal brand, I will say, is my ability to bring people together and get things done.
Yes, I think that's a powerful way to put it in terms of when you're able to bring people together. Everybody always have a mission. The companies have a goal to meet. You have a goal to meet as a leader. You are responsible to execute, to bring solutions, and to meet the customer demands. Without the people, you cannot do what you want to do. You can't do it yourself. So togetherness is important, and I like that that is the focus of your personal brand, and I see it based on what you explained in your profession. The people that report to you, hopefully they feel that way, that you are always bringing them together, maybe buying them lunch every once in a while.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes
So
they buy me lunch.
yeah, they buy lunch. So yeah, I think the idea of bringing people together is very important. It has this sense of community, and when we come together, people feel valued. Most people in their profession, like actually, the problem I solve is invisibility in the professional environment. Like the people that you're working with, if you are not making them feel valued, if they are not, if they feel undervalued, they will not see you like the brand that you're saying. They will not see you as somebody who brings them together. And your brand is actually eliminating this idea of one professional feeling isolated or overlooked or even pass for opportunities. You have the power to have this leadership perspective to recognize invisibility
That's right.
and help these people move on to the next. You said work is family, family is work. So,
Right.
and there's always a balance between, like every day, everything that do you do like is some of them work related, or is some of them home related? Or even if you have goals, are they all professional goals, or is some of them also personal goals? So this is kind of a balance that we want to always be playing when your brand is around, bringing people together. You're going to run into people that
That's
don't
right.
want to listen to you.
Hmm.
And so I'm interested to hear, actually, before I ask that question, I wanted to, as part of your brand, you mentioned you have your name. What is the name that you don't want to use? Like, which name is that you don't like?
Lovelace.
Loveless, like love
Yep.
and then less.
Yeah, love with a lace, a shoelace tied to it. Can you imagine? Can
Loveless.
you imagine me coming on the show and say, "Hey, I'm Lovelace"?
So your mother gave you that name.
I don't know where she picked it from, but yeah.
So you should watch. There's a Toastmasters, a winning Toastmasters World Championship.
Okay.
The Toastmasters is called Ndini. This guy, he got a, I think I don't know which country he's from. Maybe he's from Zimbabwe,
Mhm.
but he went to study in the UK and he did not like his name. Before he got, like when he got there, he was hiding his name. And then one time in the library, maybe his library card or his friend's library card fell down. I forgot the exact story, but he
Mhm.
picks it up, and this guy, his friend, embraced his name. He had a very funny name, just like what you're saying, like funny
Mhm.
name, but this guy embraced his name fully as part of who he is. And so his was a cultural name, and from there he it changed his mindset. He was
Mhm.
asking then, why was I hiding mine? Why was I
Okay.
hiding mine? So sometimes you will hate that name for a long time, but if you don't flush it out, it's just going to always be in your mind. So
Right.
I hope you find a way to uh
I try. My
you
high
try.
school friends, my best friend Edward, he's the only person that still calls me Lovelace from high
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, but this guy's name was more cultural. So this one, it looks like it was an English mix with something for you there. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was getting to in terms of your personal brand, the ability to bring people together. You're always going to run into people that will not want to do the things that you want them to do. Do you have a unique way of bringing these people together? Even the people that might resist the first time. How do you go about that?
That's actually a great question. And I you in any and every human institution, no matter who you are, no matter how much you are loved, no matter how well you were received, there's always going to be a fraction of people who would disagree with you. They may not like you, not because they know something about you. Sometimes it's just an internal struggle with themselves. And for the most part, that's what it is. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. And that is where my ability to bring people together, to be able to eat into people's mind and find out what exactly is going on with this individual. That's where I come in. And as I said, leadership is not about managing people. We are not, let's say, toys or tools that you would want to manage, polish it, and put it somewhere, go use it whenever you want to do. We are humans. You want to lead them, you want to guide them, you want to find out what is this guy's issue. Sometimes the problem with most of us leaders is at the workplace, we see people as objects, as part of the computer or the tools that we use, come perform a function and move on. But no, they're going through their own personal struggles. If you want to bring out the best in people, you would ask about their happiness. If one is not happy, nothing can be done. They may pretend to get things done, but it's not coming from their heart. So they wouldn't give all that they can and
Yeah.
all that they should. So
Mhm.
I when I started somewhere, I won't I won't name it, but in one of my roles as I got into the work environment, there
Yeah.
was an individual whom they were ready to get rid of. Like I think they don't want him there. And when I was informed, I asked a few questions to leadership. I said, um, why did it has to be a new guy, me, coming in to do this? I would like to know this person. You guys have gathered your data and you think that this individual is not a fit. Great. But that's your data. You should have used that to put him on a PIP or fired him. Me coming in, I'm not taking your data. I don't know anything about it. Let me build my own data and then I'll make my own decision. So they said, okay, we will look at you. Let's see how it turns out. Well, fast forward, this individual that their leadership had struggled with maybe 2, 3 years ago before me coming in, and they were willing to throw out. I got this individual promoted, and this individual moves on to a different team. Now, as leaders, you have to lead. He did not get a leader, he was under management this time. And guess what? His old attitude came back. But when I worked with this kid, there was no problems. We built a family. At one point, I'll tell them to come to work at 5 a.m. And senior leadership would say, he wouldn't show up. You would see he was the first person there every time, every time. So, yeah, dealing with people, you're going to run into people that disagree with you, dislike you. But it's
Yeah.
up to you if you want to be a leader to find out what exactly is going on. Be human to them. And after it doesn't mean that you have to blend profession with personal life.
Mhm.
But in order for people to listen to you, they have to find value in you. They have to believe that there is something that they will learn from you. They have to trust your judgment. And that
Yeah.
is that is my strongest skill set. Letting people see what I bring and letting
Mhm.
them know that I will be able to guide them. So yes,
Yeah.
I have been dealing with a lot of difficult people, but it always ends good for me.
Yeah. I think I like your approach, your basic question. You just ask, "Hey, are you happy?"
Mhm.
Is different than asking, "Hey, how are you doing?" And then
That's right.
somebody will say good. Instead
Yep.
of asking that, you ask, "Are you happy?" And happiness test. I think that's a great way to do it. And one thing that you touched on also is on the ability to build trust. I think you are trying to you're mentioning this guy trusted you. This
Mhm.
guy found you genuine. You made him feel important.
That's right.
And if you read the what's this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's the name. Yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the principles is is to make somebody feel important. It's not like you're manipulating them, but
Mhm.
people want to feel important. And when we show that they are not important, they're not going to listen to you. So
That's right.
I think that's a great skill that you are bringing up there. And one other thing is like in this work environment that you touch on this a bit. When he's under you, he looks like he's aligning with the company vision and is
Mhm.
executing the goals. And then when he switched to another manager, then he became indifferent on that. So
That's right.
that's why they say people leave managers
Oh
and
yeah.
and they don't leave the organization. I agree with that maybe 75% of the time.
Hmm.
But sometimes it's not only, sometimes your manager can be great, but just the culture is different,
That's
and
right.
the culture is much stronger than one individual. So I think
That's right.
that's what I've noticed. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. I don't want you to put the company's name on the billboard, so we will keep it confidential.
Yeah, it's an old company, old
Yeah,
company that I worked for in the past.
yeah. And one other thing in terms of personal branding, when you say that your brand is around leadership and the ability to bring people together. And actually, when I talked to you last night, the the one main point I gathered at the end is you have this vision of becoming somebody in the future, and every day you're living that life to make that vision happen. And one statement, if I had to summarize it, it's like you have this visionary leadership in you. And one thing I can tell is when somebody has visionary leadership, they build confidence and confidence every day in their ability, in how they show up every day. So visionary leadership breeds confidence, breeds visionary confidence. When you are always working on uh, your confidence, it's not arrogance, but you're working on the ability to show up and be who you are in your own way, in your own confident way. You always show up as a leader, and keep doing that. And in a work environment, when you do this also, other people that report to you might pick up on that, and they will also become confident, and they will
That's right.
follow your path based on your journey. From, I think you mentioned earlier about the multicultural aspect of your experience.
Mhm.
Can you comment on that and how that has helped you to build this brand around the ability to bring people together?
I don't think, my journey has all been about how I grew up in Ghana. That's a piece of the puzzle. My being here in the United States, I call it a blessing. And I mean, believe it or not, anybody could say what they want, but I think being here has given me a bigger and a larger opportunity than, anywhere else that I could have been. When I was living in Ghana, I was doing politics. I was involved, and I helped, with the election of then President John Evans Atta-Mills. May his soul rest in peace. But I was very vocal in helping, championing youth activism. And even when I left, they were not very happy. Maybe if I stayed in Ghana, maybe today I would probably be some minister of something, finance or youth or something, or a member of parliament of something. I was so young, but I really enjoyed politics because I believe that giving back is not something that it's that easy if you're not in a position of power. If you're in a position of power, you can influence community, the way we structure education, healthcare, anything. You
Mhm.
would be vocal. And I also believe that if you don't get involved in these legislative aspect of choosing your leaders, you end up with somebody that has zero vision but becomes your leader, and you have to follow their track. My
Yeah.
multicultural aspect of learning about politics at a young age in Ghana, moving to the United States and following the trend in terms of the market. I'm really big on the stock market. Following, asking questions. How did Warren Buffett become Warren Buffett? Who is Elon Musk? What is he doing? Then PayPal. And now people know him because of how he has established himself. But at an early age, asking these basic questions. Jeff Bezos, who is he? I mean, why is he doing this Amazon book thing? Right? Like it was these curiosities and me trying to find out, asking where did they pull their money. That's where I realized that there's
Mhm.
something called the stock market that's where trillions of dollars sit. That every day somebody's losing, somebody's winning. And then so my life and everything that I've learned is not just as a result of growing up in Ghana, but I would say about about 50% of my thought process in terms of um, ambition, desire, were all inspired mostly in the United States. When I was a young kid, I wanted to be a banker. The only reason why I wanted to be a banker is because I didn't want to go to the farm on Saturdays. So, so I wanted to have a job, right? I didn't really have that mega vision. But then being in the United States, I realized that if I make or create more resources, I'll be able to touch so many lives. And as you've seen the work that me and my team and my friends we've been doing, we've touched so many lives with just the little that we have. We touch thousands of lives with our donations, our involvement in the community, and championing paying for people's tuition. So I guess everything that I am is as a result of being born in Ghana and being raised in the United States.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's powerful. And I know you mentioned you about your philanthropy activities, and that's what I was trying to hint on in terms of the visionary confidence. And we will get to your nonprofit here in a bit, but in terms of visionary confidence, you had the courage to write a letter to the president of Ghana, and I see it trending on Twitter or on X.
That's
Tell me
right.
about that. What drove you to writing a letter to you and the US? The elections are going on in Ghana, West Africa, and the results are out. And the first thing you think of, somebody asks you, I saw the comment, somebody asked you, so you had the time to write all this.
And
And
I said, I love Ghana.
and you replied, why not? Why not? So
Right.
tell me about what drove you what compelled you to sending that message. Very well articulated message,
Hmm.
highlighting about the presidency when he was watching on the sideline,
Hmm.
and now that he is on the seat, he's there. Is You were highlighting what he should watch for and
Hmm.
what he should do next. And
Hmm.
also, you called out some of the flaws that he might have, and
Oh
so
yeah.
it was very balanced message. No, I
Hmm.
don't I don't think you are sugarcoating him only on one side and
No.
congratulating him. So tell me about that. What drove you to writing that? And I'm sure you're a voice for many people in Africa, in Ghana, West Africa, and I see a lot of following there. Tell me what what is inspired you.
Well, that's great. And I see that you have combed through my Twitter a lot.
I do,
But
I do, I do my homework.
I see that, and you got an A plus plus. So great job. Yes. As I said, I have been following politics for a long time. My
Hmm.
mom had championed the NDC government, which is the current ruling government of John Dramani Mahama. My mom campaigned with the 31st December movement, the founder of this current president's party, Jerry John Rawlings, our former president. My mom was a champion advocate for the 31st December Women Movement back in Nigeria, where she worked alongside Nana Kunedu Ajima Rawlings, who was the wife of then President Jerry John Rawlings. Jerry has passed away, unfortunately, but he's one of our democratically elected leaders. He actually set the bench for Ghana to start this democracy of, we don't like you, we like you, voting. So he did a great job. So my mom was moving along with them, and unfortunately, she was not well educated, so she missed out on opportunities on governance, and she got tired and decided to move back, and she didn't got herself involved in politics. That was quite hurtful because as a kid, I saw her struggle, her hard work, and she wanted to just give back to society. She was championing stuff for our communities, and everybody knew of her. But when they won, she was sidelined. And up to date, I could, if I talk to her, I could always hear that disappointment in her voice. That said, I decided that as a young person, I'm not really going to focus my politics on a political ideology. I'm not going to say I'm blue or black or red or yellow. What I would do is I would sit back and I'll work with any government based on merit. What do you have for the people? What do you intend to do that benefits the general society? So I honestly have in the past voted for the NPP and the NDC before I left Ghana. I have voted for both political parties. I voted for John Ejekun Kufuor, who did a lot for Ghana, he was on the other side, the NPP government. And then I also voted for John Evans Atta Mills, who actually was my mentor, the man that I helped campaign to bring to power. So I don't have an agenda of wearing a party color and not being able to speak to power and say this is corruption, this should not happen. And most of our problems in politics is that we do not criticize ourselves. But if you look at the man in the mirror, nobody is perfect. So you always, if you want to start cleaning house, you have to start from your house. So I personally don't have any agenda or trying to butter anybody to when they are wrong. I will tell you that this is not right. Now, why did I wrote that letter? I did that because I believe in John Dramani Mahama, our former president, Nana Akufo-Addo. When he won from the other party, I was so excited because I remember him from back in the 80s or maybe 90s, because I was born in 86, so maybe in the 90s. But he championed this demonstration called Fumi Preko. Fumi Preko means just kill me outright, because the government then, the NDC government under Jerry Don Rawlings, was nobody really liked it at that point. I didn't know much about politics, but I remember him as a young lawyer from the UK. He comes in, his dad, a former prime minister, I believe, and this guy was just all over the place. I believed in his integrity, his concept of fighting corruption, and being a leader. I actually trusted in his vision. Now he becomes president and put in place party loyalist, which destroyed his presidency. He did a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, if the people on the ground, which is the citizens, are not being impacted by the so-called good things that you are doing, then obviously they're going to vote you out. So that was what happened. They voted him out, but he did good. He had come up with free SHS, meaning free senior secondary school education. When I went to senior secondary school, I had to pay for it. But God being so good to me, I got a scholarship from the Methodist Church. So I went to senior secondary school for free. If it wasn't for that scholarship, I don't think I could have been able to still be walking, because I had walked to junior high school 5 miles daily for 3 years. Now I'm going to senior high school. I'm going to do the same thing for the next 3 years. Maybe I could have even been knocked out by a vehicle. Something could have harmed me. So I like the concept, but the execution has been completely flawed. But it's a good start. So he was not all that terrible. He likes education. Obviously, that's one of the things that matters to me the most. So when they elected John Dramani Mahama, This guy was the former president. They threw him out because they didn't like his attitude and his way of life. Now we went back and, embraced him and called him pretty much what is happening in the United States. We've gone through the same phase with John Dramani Mahama. One of the things I'll give to Mahama is a quality that he shares that I share too. His ability to relate to any and everybody. This guy will see you on the street and he will hug you. He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't even care if you voted for him. So he's a very humble guy. And I feel that him coming back, he's coming to reset the country. I could be wrong with what I believe or think is going to happen. But I wanted him to be cautious because he has a lot of money. Obviously, he's going to be in for just one term. So you coming back, if it's about money, you already have it. So I believe that the impact that he leaves, the legacy, and by that I mean accountability. There's a lot of people who have stolen national money. 230 million was used to build some nonsense called e-gate. And trust me, I'm sure you and I could have built that for less than 100,000 US dollars. But $230 million was used to build that. Our healthcare
Mhm.
system has improved under Akufo-Addo, but then I hope that John Dramani Mahama will continue. I also believe that in terms of education, the free SHS is doing okay. He can build on it. And I believe this man has the capability sitting on the sidelines and then now coming back into office, he should be able to do that. But I also encourage him to not just surround yourself with loyalists. These folks, most of them have no leadership skills. They don't intend to do anything for the average guy. Trust me, if my country is doing well, I don't think I would be here, right? So the point that I was trying to tell him, and I know and I believe, I hope that he has read it because it has had a lot of media coverage. It was published by Joy News, so which is the most prestigious news agency in Ghana. So I believe that somehow it has made its way to his desk. But don't just surround yourself with people who are just let's elect Mahama, but put competent people who actually care about the local guy, the average guy. If you go to Ghana, every politician is a millionaire. These people don't get paid even $10,000 a month. How did you become a millionaire? We should just have a department that all they do is create lifestyle audit all these folks and put them in jail where they have stolen from the public. But trust me, if that happens, all of them are going to jail, so that's not going to happen. So
Yeah,
that's why I wrote that appeal to the now newly elected president of the Republic of Ghana, and I hope that at least, and so far, most of his appointment has been great, electing younger people, women,
Mhm.
and he's very bringing everybody together, people from the north, the south, the east, and the west. So I hope that my vision for his vision will come to pass. That's why I wrote that.
Yeah. I think you did a very good job, I think so.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
yeah,
you.
keep doing that. It made me think now I need to go after the government of Kenya too.
You should, because you have a lot of power in you to do
There's
that.
a there's a lot of and yeah, can you hear my voice well? I just switched the
Yes.
audio. Yeah, there's a lot of unemployment going on, a lot of youth, and there's no opportunities. Everybody is just you ask them what they do, they say that they are a businessman, a businesswoman. So that is going on a lot, and I hope Kenya youth will keep standing up and keep seeking the right opportunities until that change is there. So yeah, that's what I meant by visionary leadership breeds visionary confidence. If you don't have a vision of being a leader, your vision of confidence is also not there. And
That's
because
right.
of that, you are able to make this decision. So keep doing that. I know we have the other question that I want to ask you, but before we go there, in terms of your philanthropy, I know you have this non-profit,
Mhm.
and you bought them generators. I'm guessing
Mhm.
computers. You've been part of mobile money, something like that, like
Yeah,
mobile banking.
mobile, yeah, mobile ICT center. Yep.
yeah, mobile ICT center, and also just helping the community. And you're using your personal brand, the ability of you being a leader to bringing people together. You are
Mhm.
extending it into the community. So I think I can see that in terms of the projects that you are doing.
Mhm.
And can you tell me about the generator part that you
Oh,
did?
absolutely. Greatness in You. That's the name of our nonprofit, GIU. And
Greatest
I,
in you. Yeah.
greatness in you. Yep. And that comes from, again, my ability to bring people together and see beyond our flaws, because nobody is perfect. And I
Mhm.
believe that there is greatness in any and everybody. You just have to just look back and then peel it off. And with the help of yourself or somebody, you should be able to get to your dreams and aspirations. So that's why we chose the name Greatness in You. But GIU, we've done a lot. I believe from where I'm standing, we've done quite a bit. These are just ordinary guys. As far as I know, none of my friends are millionaires yet. We are all just a couple thousand years. we, we depend on our employers to give us paycheck, but these guys have committed to about 10% of their salaries for us, and each and every other week these guys will donate their money to complete strangers that they don't know. Complete,
Yeah.
complete
Yeah.
strangers. And
Hmm.
that has helped us do a lot of great things in the communities. What have GIU done? We've helped paid for tuition for folks in colleges, at least that I know of, over 25 to maybe 35 people that we've paid for their tuition, and this came from money from
Nice.
just us. And I would say some of my friends at work, my employees, my staff, my leadership, they do contribute every now and then because they want to be part of this success story of touching strangers. So yes, I do every now and then. Family and friends would contribute. So it's not mostly my team and I, but the bulk majority of stuff comes from just the five of us, right? And
Yeah.
what happened with the donation of the generator is, before going to Ghana in December, I reached out to my uncle and then I asked him, hey, what is it that our community so desperately needs? The town that I grew up in, the place that I used to walk to school, what is it that they desperately need? And then he said, well, we have the clinic, so I'll talk to the clinic to find out if there is anything that they need. When we spoke with them, they mentioned two things. Out of the two things, we ranked that the generator is the life-saving asset that they need at the moment. Imagine this in Ghana or in my hometown. A woman goes to deliver a baby. In the midst of delivery, light goes out. They have to immediately transport this
Yeah.
person to the regional capital. And
Yeah.
some has been fatal, and over 72,000 people goes to this clinic annually. 72,000 in Ghana, that is huge. What do
Mm.
they need? A generator
Yeah.
that costs less than 5,000 US dollars,
Mm. Yeah.
and it would serve a community that goes beyond my town. It go everyone closer proximity of about 10 to 30 miles would come to the clinic to utilize it. So when I spoke with my board, they were like, really? I said, yes, this is what's going on. And trust me, about 50% of the time in 24 hours in Ghana, there is light out. So health centers must be running all the time. Their computers would
Yeah.
not be functioning, nothing would be working. So when my uncle told me that, and I met with my board, we decided that, well, we have five people. Let's pool resources together. Any and every amount that anyone would want to contribute, we'll take that. If we
Yeah.
don't get to our goal, I will supplement it with any and everything. Because I believe in
Hmm.
giving back. My community has done a lot for me. Sitting here, if I didn't grow
Yeah.
up there, I probably wouldn't be here. So I said,
Hmm.
we'll do that. And then
Yeah.
when I went home, a couple of my board came with me, Dr. Kobe and Nana. Nana said they all came with me. So it wasn't just me who was there. when we went and we told the chief that, hey, we spoke with the clinic. They said they needed a generator, a 5 kilowatts generator. We bought them a 7.5 kilowatts generator. We exceeded
Nice.
the capacity. That way they should be able to run and function. So we did a small ceremony with the chief of
Mm-hmm.
the town, Nana Sempe, who happens to be a family relative, and then the queen mother, and then the health officials. We also got media coverage where they interviewed us
Yes.
and spoke about it. But yes, we donated that. And today, as I sit here talking to you, I'm very happy knowing
Yeah.
that the generator is serving its purpose. My grandma was there just last week and she told me that it was light out, but the clinic was functioning. So thank you very much. So and I said, don't
Yeah.
thank me. Thank
Hmm.
the people that pull their resources to help complete strangers.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing. We are well involved in the communities. We have a lot of vision, mission, and ambitions coming into 2025. And I know with the people that I have around me, we should be able to do more and bigger and better things.
Yeah, I think that's very good, and there's power in giving back because even me, I got some scholarship to attend the US colleges here, and you got the same type
Right.
of funding also, and now you are giving back to the community. And
That's
we
right.
said earlier about you found your passion in account. Is it in accounting or in
Mhm.
finance?
Accounting.
And in accounting, and through that passion, you have extended it to the community, and that's what I said earlier about. Finding one's passion is great, but
Mhm.
sustainable fulfillment is when you can
Mhm.
convert that passion into
Mhm.
something meaningful for the people,
That's
something
right.
with a purpose that you are doing. And a story that relates to you as is also when I visited Kenya earlier last year, one of my sisters asked me to buy a I don't know how you call it, like a portion mill. The right word in English will be something that grinds the cereal, like
Okay.
the corn,
Yep.
like yeah, like
Mhm.
the corn mill, like equipment.
Mhm.
Because the people in the community where she lives used to walk miles and miles all the way to the market,
Mhm.
carrying their harvests to the market just to grind this into what they need. So now,
Mhm.
when I got this equipment, my wife and I contributed, and we aligned to purchase this equipment for them. Uh, People were now just crossing the river, across the river, and they're coming to grind their harvest. And so she sends me pictures of this, and I think that was one of my proud moments last year in 2024.
Mhm.
But the equipment broke down. So everybody crossed the river and they came there and the equipment was broken. And the entire community felt like she failed them. They were saying, "You failed us, you failed us," because they're used to walking miles.
Uh-huh.
Now they cross the river and there's nothing. So even with that, we were still able to repair the equipment and it was running again. So I can tell the feeling of fulfillment when these things around the community are taken care of and
Mhm.
everybody's life is uplifted. So keep doing that.
Good.
All
Well,
right.
thank you. And I'm glad you're also into
Yeah.
the same mission. So good job. And thanks to
Yeah.
you and your wife for providing joy and happiness to a lot of people in your community. From the
Yes.
bottom of my heart, we appreciate you. You don't
Yeah.
just do
Thank you.
business stuff, doing touching
Yeah.
lives. We like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that too made me it's one of the simple concepts. Some people just ask for money and then it finishes.
That's
But
right.
this one was money for equipment to help the community.
That's right.
So we're going to switch a bit into my last question, which is, do you have a personal brand symbol and how do you use it every day? And I know some people don't, so it's okay, but if you, yeah, do you have one?
Ah, I think you asked me this last. I, ooh, okay. I personally don't have a personal brand symbol, but we have GIU, and
Yeah.
GIU is a symbol, which is G and I and U again, which is a confirmation of our individual strength and abilities. There is no human being who doesn't come with strength. and there is no human being who doesn't come with some luggages. What is important is using your strength to always complement your weaknesses. And I personally, if you ask me, what does my personal brand look like? It look like me. My ability to be in your face, to speak to you, to listen to you, to share ideas with you, to empower you, to have you believe that you are capable of doing and being able to achieve any and everything. I guess going forward, since you brought it up, we could I could have a personal brand that represents actually something. And I guess I would think about a logo, but for that I
Yeah.
think TIU, because I like the service to mankind aspect of it.
Yeah.
And once you tell somebody greatness in you, even if they are unaware of their greatness, they are looking and asking, "Oh, greatness in me, okay." And then
Yeah.
they start to talk to you. One of my highlights when I went to Ghana, I think we went to, I think last night I told you the southern, but it's actually the northern part. It's actually in the center-ish. But when we
Yeah.
went to a restaurant, my uncle and a few other people that have followed me to go eat, I have not even been to that part of the country before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I got there, walk into the restaurant, this little kid walks to me and says, "Hello, Mr. Kesse. Welcome." I say, "Hey, how do you know me?"
Yeah.
Everybody was just looking at me. How does he know? I said, "I don't know." He said, "I follow you online, GIU. I'm a member of the." I said, "Oh, wow, that is really great. How did you even recognize me?" He says, "We always see pictures of you and videos. You're always talking." I said, "Oh, okay." But it felt good knowing that even him, my impact has not been anything physical, as in take this or do that. But just by word of mouth, the seminars that I have been
Yeah.
giving out there, somebody just recognizing me and being passionate and being, in the midst of everybody acknowledging the impact of our words and
Yeah.
empowering them. So that actually made me very, very happy.
Yeah, that's good. So your reputation it's having a ripple effect around the world, even in the remote areas where you don't feel like. And I like your answer to your personal brand symbol is you. Your personal brand symbol is the image that you portray. I
Mhm.
think that's what you're trying to imply. So,
That's right.
but yeah, yeah, and it doesn't need to be a logo. It can be anything. So many people have it in different variations. Greatness in you is a powerful reminder for anybody to always look inside. Most of the time, most people always go elsewhere. They compare themselves to anybody, they compare themselves to you, and
Mhm.
then you are saying greatness in you that actually redirect them back to
Yep.
themselves, and they
Yep.
start looking at what is it from them inside them,
Mhm.
what can they appreciate, how can they go through a self-discovery process to
Mhm.
understand their vision and
Mhm.
then come up with a strategy
Mhm.
to build their personal brand, empower themselves, and influence everyone anywhere. And with that, when they are all done, when they are all done, they can be living a balanced legacy.
That's
And
right.
my my son
Hello.
just joined my son just joined us here. So
Hello.
Ethan, Ethan, you want to say something? Can I finish the interview? Yeah. So you mentioned about your mother. Every
Mhm.
time you talk to your mother, you feel like she's having this regret or like from the voice.
Mhm.
So we want to, and that's why actually I have a framework that walks people from self-discovery to vision to
Mhm.
strategy
Mhm.
to personal branding
Mhm.
and to empowerment
Mhm.
and to building influence and finally to building a balanced legacy. So, and the last pillar there is mainly to help them so that they become unregrettable, because
That's
most
right.
people just live their life professionally all the time. I
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So you see, Your kids haven't shown up yet, but
Broke. My son
yeah.
was here. He stood here, looked at me, and turned away. And then,
Or you step on his foot.
yeah, I said, "Hey, don't come here."
Yeah. So
Mhm,
so yeah, I think if people can live a life and at the end of the day when they retire and they look back or when they are gone and their
mhm,
legacy still lives, like when you're gone one time, people are going to see greatness in you, like in what you're building. Or one good great example is Steve Jobs. When you look at his story, very ambitious. He changed the entire technology, how we see this iPhone, the technology in iPhone, and how everybody's running to Apple.
That's right.
His vision on this, he put so much dedication and effort into this. But when he got sick, all the money he had could not fix everything he had, just like everything that just happened to him.
That's right.
And he has many quotes. And when you look at these quotes are actually showing, when you read this quote, it's like, oh, this time he was very ambitious at Apple. He was leading a team. So this
Mhm,
quote like resembles this. And then another quote, maybe when he fell sick and now he's reflecting on life, on
mhm,
family life and health. And
mhm,
so I've been researching on Steve Jobs and I'm seeing this pattern of how what he was doing up to the time he was almost dying and how he
mhm.
reflected on how we should live our life when we are still able to. So I like what you are doing because I think it's going to fulfill you are going to be fulfilled in the future and you have somebody to look up to and you don't want to regret like that somebody close to
Right.
you who
That's
is your
right.
mother like
Mhm.
so and she's also influencing you in a way so
That's right.
there's we are all connected and we're learning from each other and it's great to hear this this thought I had about people finishing their career and
Mhm,
then they regret everything else and you can
mhm.
never go back. So
That's right.
yeah. So and I like the logo of greatness in you, GIU. I think I've seen it. And
Mhm,
uh keep doing the good work with that program. You have a strong board and you have people who can just give and buy
mhm,
a generator. I grew
mhm.
up also lights were going out every single hour.
Okay.
We were studying with a candlelight.
Oh my
After
goodness.
after 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 some time, the candlelight will be on
Yep.
and it will finish. You have
Yep.
to finish your homework within the candlelight will start to melt and
Hmm.
you'll have to finish your homework within that time. So but when I went back, I think the lights are now, it's not very frequent, but it's
Right.
still going out.
Hmm.
And for the first time, I went to my rural home and I was
Hmm.
at a tall building at a hotel. And I
Hmm.
looked down and I could see all these houses. They had solar panels on top of the
Oh
roof,
wow.
like tiny solar panels. So there's a shift in technology now, not only generator. There's generators running. There's also a focus on solar
Right.
panels. So yeah. So that was my last question to you. Do you have anything else you want to add? Maybe, no, first of all, do you have a message for the audience
Mhm.
that will be watching this? And then after that, how can they find you? So if you just don't mind sharing that a bit.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would say thank you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate this opportunity. But just to, take us back to the lights out, Kenya and everything. I
Yeah.
think yesterday you and I spoke a little bit about that. I think Kenya has been the center of ICT in Africa. I'm hugely impressed with what they are doing with ICT. And I know a lot of people who go back to Kenya and they get good employment because the economy is functioning in terms of ICT. I think Kenya is on top. when you speak of Ghana, people think that we are good in terms of employment. I think it's more of democracy. But
Yeah.
yeah, we are also developing. But that
Mm,
goes to
yeah.
tell you the vast resources that Africa have. The sunlight, it's on 24/7. Like we have an excellent weather if we utilize it and use it in good faith. And if you have people who have vision and mission to do something good, trust me, our countries will be better off. We have all the resources, gold, mineral, diamond. We have everything. We even have salt. Everybody has salt. We have everything. We have bauxite. We have lithium. We have everything that anybody can think of. So I'm glad that Kenya is transitioning, and I think we in Ghana picked, they called something Momo, which is mobile money or something. I think we picked that concept from Kenya. And us, or the African continent, our ability to share knowledge and transfer to do things that actually suit us, I think it's a great step in the right direction. Talking of my message that I have, all that I want people to know and believe in is yourself. There is nobody important in this life than you. I have a friend that I met in college. His name was Lando. And this is a quick story. But when I met him on his birthday, he purchased a backpack for himself and he wrapped it and he said, "From Lando to Lando." And when I saw it, I laughed and I said, "Lando, what is this? What is this madness about?" And then he looked at me and he said, "Cassie, tell me, who is the most important person in this life than myself?" At that point, my mind changed. I started to
Mhm.
value who I am and the fact that I need to reward myself for the things that I have accomplished or the things that I do. It doesn't mean that I'm doing anything crazy, but the reward could be recognition, as in buying myself a cup of coffee. I love it. So that would say, if I get this thing done this week, I'm going to do this. The more you check off your list, the more useful you become. And there is some joy and satisfaction in being able to accomplish your task. So have your short goals, your short-term goals and long-term goals. The short-term goals, you could achieve them in a week, such as, what time do I get up? What do I need to get done? Am I looking for a job? Have I been applying to jobs? If you're doing just 2 applications, why don't you just try three in a day? 4, 5. Increase the frequency, blow it up out there. Don't limit yourself. Believe that any and everything that you want to do, you have the power to do that. We all look for employment with other people. Trust me, I work for somebody else. But trust me, we have the ability to be creators. Each and every one of us are creators. You created this leadership, this personal branding. You are a creator. Believe in the things that you can create with your uniqueness in you, such as me finding folks and us creating a nonprofit that is impacting so many lives, right? So don't sit down and be looking outward. Look inward, and that is the greatness in you. If you're looking to find me, I'm always available on Twitter, LK Kesse. I'm always out there. I tend to be very vocal. On LinkedIn, I'm super professional, so I don't really mingle my Twitter lifestyles over there. But I think if you are also seeing what GIU is doing and you would like to help us, we are more than willing to take donations. You could Google us at GIU, as in YOU.org. You can see some of our work. You can see our board. Or if you're just, listening to us and you just like to speak or be in contact with me, I think even either through you or myself, I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm always building connections. But Twitter is like my safe haven. That's where I'm always at, doing my seminars and interacting with the public, mostly folks from Africa. But again, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. I know a few other people that I think they would benefit from coming to your show, share their stories, and I think I will get them connected to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, thanks for sharing a great list of short-term goals and long-term goals. And people sometimes they refuse to do all those short-term goals, like just like waking up in the morning. You told me you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. Today is Sunday, you woke up at 4 a.m.
Mhm.
So that just having that mindset, just starting with something like that sets the stage for the next big thing. So I think that was a good advice on setting goals. And also, yeah, thanks for your flexibility. We were supposed to meet in December.
That's right.
and we moved it to January. So you are my first podcast guest to this year. So you opened
And
up the doors.
greatness is
So
coming your way. Greatness is
so
coming your way there.
so greatness in you. Yeah, there's
Yes, sir.
greatness in you. You should start a podcast with that greatness in you. And
Okay.
that will be, yeah. So I think keep doing the job that you are doing. And I think many people are going to keep benefiting. And the community that you talked about, women especially and kids, you said
Hmm.
that the healthcare is going to improve in that region by what
That's
you did. So yeah, keep doing that, and I hope anybody listening to this will be able to visit your website. I will put it below here in this video, and others can check it out. I've went and looked at it. I can see there's proof. There is a social proof of what you are doing there on the ground. So keep doing that. So yeah, for me too. To my audience, I hope this interview with Kwabena will help you find something in you, find something great in you, using his own motto. So and to my fellow Kenyans, I hope to interact with you more. I just got some inspiration from Kwabena here. He was he had the courage to write to the president of Ghana. I've never written to a president of Ghana, even to anybody big in Kenya. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do about that also. And to my Ghanaian friends, when I was in Ghana, I had a Ghanaian name and
Oh.
nickname, and my Ghanaian nickname was Olu. And actually, Olu is not my Ghanaian nickname. I came to Ghana with the name already, but the Ghanaians already have this Olu name to mean somebody old, right?
Mhm.
So
Oh, only man. Okay.
yeah,
I
so
see.
so
Oh,
my so
no.
my
Okay.
mil so my middle name Olu is the first three initials of my middle name, but to them it meant something in Ghana. So
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
Ghana I had that, and actually, but my Ghanaian name, my real Ghanaian nickname that the guys gave me there was Abuaje. So I know
Okay.
I'm part of I lived in Ghana for 5 years, and I know I plan to visit Ghana again, uh, see and compare the competition in technology. Like Kwabena is saying, Kenya is more advanced than Ghana. Do you
That's right.
agree? I will come there to check it out.
Okay.
So thank you very much for your time today. It's been a wonderful time talking to you and getting to know you more and the things that you are doing. You are welcome again next time on my show, and we can focus on one single issue and drive it home. So
All right. Works for
thank
me.
you very much.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Felix.